All right, so systems of equations, we've really just been working with linear equations or three variable equations, but they're all linear, just in the third dimension. So let's look at quadratic equations now. So remember, quadratic means that there's a squared in the equation. There's two types. So there's one where you have to use substitution. So this is the quadratic linear. So quadratic linear, because this is the quadratic one and this is a linear one. Okay, so quadratic linear, you always use substitution. Now, elimination is when it's quadratic. So quadratic, that one's quadratic, which this one is also quadratic. Okay, they're both quadratic. And these ones, you use elimination, and one of the variables cancel, and then you can just go solve it. These ones, you have to use substitution. You can't use elimination. Like, there's nothing to really eliminate here that's going to be helpful. Okay, so let's look at the substitution kinds first. So the quadratic linear ones. We have to do this using substitution. So we're going to look at the bottom equation, and we're going to solve it for x. So we had x minus 3y equals 2. Just add that 3y over, and you get x equals 3y plus 2. Now, I'm going to take that and I'm going to make it blue so we can see this a little bit easier. And I'm going to plug it into that top equation. Wherever there's an x, that's where that is going to go. And I don't know why it made it like that. Sorry. So this right here should have been black. Sorry. So we have negative 5 times 3y minus 2 squared plus y squared plus 3y plus 2, oh, I said minus 2, but it should have been plus 2, minus 31y plus 150 equals 0. Now, if you remember your order of operations, it goes PEMDAS, so parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division are at the same time, addition, subtraction. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. That's another way to remember that. But we do parentheses first and then exponents. So we need to deal with that exponent right there very first. And to do that, remember to square something. So if we have 3y plus 2 squared, that's the same as 3y plus 2 times 3y plus 2. I would just use the box. So we have 3y and 2, 3y and 2. So 3y times 3y is 9y squared. 3y times 2 is 6y. 3y times 2 is 6y. And 2 times 2 is 4. So this becomes 9y squared plus 12y plus 4. Okay, which is where, sorry, that's going to disappear. That comes from right there. So that's negative 5 times 9y squared plus 12y plus 4 plus y squared plus 3y plus 2. I just took that out of the parentheses. Minus 31y plus 150 equals 0. Multiply that 5 in, so you get negative 45y squared minus 60y minus 20 plus y squared plus 3y plus 2 minus 31y plus 150 equals 0. So then we're going to group all our y squareds together, group all our y's together, group all our constants together. So we have negative 45y squared and y squared, so that becomes negative 44y squared. Negative 60y plus 3y minus 31y is negative 88y. And negative 20 plus 2 plus 150 is 132. Now this should always break down easy for you. See how that leading coefficient is negative 144? We can divide everything here by negative 144. And I should have even done it on this side. Sorry, I don't know why I didn't. Because that just cancels to be 0, which is why the negative 44 is just going to disappear. So here, now this becomes y squared plus 2y minus 3 equals 0. Which we can factor that. So we're trying to see what multiplies to be negative 3, adds to be 2. Well, that's positive 3 and negative 1. So that factors to y plus 3 and y minus 1. Okay. And then we just set them both equal to 0, so you end up getting y equals negative 3 and y equals positive 1. Because we're going to take that y plus 3, set it equal to 0, so you get y equals negative 3. Same with the y minus 1, set it equal to 0, so you get y equals positive 1. Okay, so now we have 2 answers for y, which means we're going to have 2 answers for x. Also, when we just need to plug these 2 y values into, I would always plug it into that linear equation to solve for x. So let's plug in the -3 first. So we have x plus 3y plus 2, so that's going to be x equals 3 times -3 plus 2, which is -9 plus 2, which is -7. So we have one ordered pair of -7, -3. Okay, and make sure whatever number you plug in, that's the one it goes with. We're going to do the same thing with the 1, so 3 times 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 2, which is 5. So our other answer here is 5, 1. Cool? Okay, let's look at this one. So we have to solve one of these equations for either x or y. I'm going to solve the bottom one for x. So you add that 3y over, you get 3y, subtract the 3, minus 3. So then we're going to plug that in wherever there's an x up here. So we're going to plug it in right there and then by the 21. So it's 3y minus 3 squared plus 5y squared minus 21 times 3y minus 3 minus 3y plus 54. Do the squared part first. So 3y minus 3 squared. Sorry, I tried to get the colors here to kind of help you out, but they're bleeding over and kind of annoying, but 3y minus 3 times 3y minus 3, if we drew the box, 3y times 3y, that's 9y squared, -9y, and positive 9. So that's where you get the 9 squared, 18y, and the 9. Okay, then I'm going to multiply that 21 in right here. So that's -63 plus 63. -63y plus 63. So this is 9y squared minus 18y plus 9 plus 5y squared minus 63y plus 63 minus 3y plus 54 equals 0. Group the y squareds together so you get 14y squared. -18 minus 63 minus 3 is -84. 9 plus 63 plus 54 is 126. Now divide that by 14, and you get y squared minus 6y plus 9, which factors to y minus 3 and y minus 3. Use the x, see what multiplies to be 9, adds to be -6, which you get y equals 3. Then we can take that, plug it into that bottom equation, so you get 3 times 3 minus 3, which is 9 minus 3, which is 6. Which means we only have one answer here of 6, 3, versus the other one where we had 2 answers. Okay? It's because these factors right here were the same factor. Okay? Okay, let's look at this one. This time I'm going to solve for y. This one is a little bit easier if we solve for y. So that's going to be subtract that 2x. You get -2x, add the 1 plus 1. Now I'm going to plug that in wherever there is a y. See, I tried to be good with my colors and they're bleeding. Ugh, it's so frustrating. Whatever. So we need to square that -2x plus 1 first. So if we do that over here, actually I want to, so we square -2x plus 1, so -2x and 1, -2x, 1. -2x times -2x is 4x squared. -2x times 1 is -2x. Same thing here, and 1 times 1 is 1. So that's where that 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 comes from. Now we can multiply this 2 in, and we can multiply the 3 in. So we have x squared minus 8x squared plus 8x minus 1 minus 28x plus 6x minus 3 plus 26 equals 0. So we're going to group the x squareds together. So you get x squared minus 8x squared is -7x squared. 8x minus 28x plus 6x is -14x. And then -2 minus 3 plus 26 is 21. Divide by that -7. you get x squared plus 2x minus 3. So that's going to be x plus 3, x minus 1, if you factor it. So x equals negative 3 and x equals positive 1. So again, we're going to have two answers for this one. So I'm going to plug that in now for the bottom equation. So I'm going to plug negative 3 in first, which you get 6 plus 1, which is 7. So our first ordered pair is negative 3, 7. Then I'm going to plug in the 1, so negative 2 times 1 plus 1 is negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1. So then the second ordered pair is 1 comma negative 1. Okay. Now let's get into the quadratic equations. So quadratic, we both have quadratics here. And these should always be easy. Just multiply one of the equations by negative 1. Doesn't matter which one. So that becomes x squared minus 7y squared minus 2x minus 28y plus 148 equals 0. Because now all of those x's are going to cancel out. So those cancel, I'm left with negative 5y squared minus 20y plus 105 equals 0. Divide by that negative 5 and you get y squared plus 4y minus 21 equals 0. Factors, see what multiplies to be negative 21, adds to be 4. It happens to be 7 and negative 3. So then we get y equals negative 7 and y equals positive 3. Then we can plug that back in to one of those top equations. I'm going to plug in the negative 7 first. So I have negative x squared plus 2 times negative 7 squared plus 2x plus 8 times negative 7 minus 43. Always do that squared first. So that's x squared plus 2 times 49 plus 2x. 8 times negative 7 is negative 56 minus 43. 2 times 49 is 98. So I have negative x squared plus 98 plus 2x minus 56 minus 43 equals 0. So that's negative x squared plus 2x, 98 minus 56 minus 43 is negative 1. Divide by that negative, so you get x squared minus 2x plus 1. So that factors to x minus 1 and x minus 1, which means that x equals positive 1. Okay, so then our ordered pair here becomes 1 comma negative 7. And see, there was potential to have two answers there, but we only ended up with one because the factors were the same. Now let's do the same thing and plug 3 in. So you get negative 9x plus 2 times 3 squared, which is 9, plus 2x plus 8 times 3, which is 24, minus 43 equals 0. So that's negative x squared plus 18 plus 2x plus 24 minus 43 equals 0. So that's negative x squared plus 2x. 18 plus 24 minus 43 is negative 1. Divide by that negative. We're ending up at the same spot here. That doesn't always happen. That is a coincidence in this one. But again, x equals 1, so this is going to be 1 comma 3. Okay. Let's do another one. So again, just multiply one of the equations by negative 1. Doesn't matter which one. But we want to line this up so that they'll actually cancel, because see, our y's are going to cancel here. So let's multiply that top equation by negative 1, and you get negative 2y minus 3x minus 24y minus 46 equals 0. So those y's cancel. You're left with 2x minus 12y, or 2x squared minus 12x minus 32 equals 0. Divide by 2. You get x squared minus 6x minus 16 equals 0. If you factor that, that factors to x minus 8 and x plus 2. So x equals 8 and x equals negative 2. Sorry I'm not going through every factoring, but you should know that. I've been trying to drill that in your head this year. So we get x equals 8 and x equals negative 2. Now let's plug that into one of the top equations. I'm going to do that one because it's a little shorter. So that's going to be, all we have right there is just one x. So we have 2y squared plus 3 times 8 plus 24y plus 46 equals 0. So that's 2y squared plus 24 plus 24y plus 46 equals 0. So that's 2y squared plus 24y plus 70 equals 0. Divide by that 2, and you get y squared plus 12y plus 35 equals 0, which factors to y plus 5 and y plus 7. So y equals -5 and y equals positive 7. So that means when x equals 8, we have two possibilities for our y values. Okay? So when x equals 8, we have 8 comma -5 as one of the intersecting points, and 8 comma -7 as the other intersecting point. Okay, let's do the same thing, plug in -2. So we have 2y squared minus 6 plus 24y plus 46 equals 0, which is 2y squared plus 24y plus 40 equals 0. Divide by that 2, and you get y squared plus 12y plus 20 equals 0. Factor it, factors to y plus 10 and y minus 2, or y plus 2. So that's y equals -10 and y equals -2. So when x equals -2, we also have -2, -10, and -2, -2. Okay? Let's do this last one. So again, use elimination. Multiply one of the equation by -1. So you get -x squared minus y squared plus 18x minus 4y minus 84 equals 0. In this case, there were three things that canceled. The x squareds canceled, the y squareds canceled, and the 4y's canceled. So -3x plus 18x is 15x. -36 minus 84 is -120, and then equals 0. So I'm just going to add that 120 over, and you get 15x equals 120. Divide by 15, and x equals 8. Now we're just going to plug it into this equation. So we have 8 squared plus y squared minus 3 times 8 plus 4y minus 36 equals 0. So that's 64 plus y squared minus 24 plus 4y minus 36 equals 0. So that's y squared plus 4y. 64 minus 24 minus 36 is 4 equals 0. Factors to y plus 2 and y plus 2. So that means y equals -2. So our only answer here is 8 comma -2. Okay. There is a cute panda riding a elephant. Please ask questions if you have questions on this. I know it's really computation heavy, and it's playing on things like factoring and making sure you know like methods to use and such. And yeah, but that's it for this video. Hope you're all doing well. Bye.